Hey guys, it is day 11 of our SoundOff, and I wanted to share a little victory that I had with you guys today. So, I've recently gotten into fountain pens, but pretty much only fountain pens for sketching and doodling. And while I was at Heidi's, you guys might be aware of this, I got a chance to play with her modified Jinhao 750 that someone else had modified to hold a zebra G-nib, and it was a gold zebra G-nib. And I thought that was just phenomenal. So as soon as I got home, I started looking up ways that I could do that for myself. Because I don't actually go to pen shows, and I didn't really want to fork out a lot of money to have somebody else do it. And there's so many tutorials online that make it seem super easy. So I started with the Parka Blogs tutorial, and I'm writing a blog post on this if you are trying to modify your 750 to take G-nibs. So keep tuned, because I had a lot of problems doing it, as we're about to start talking about. So this is a 750, and this is my G-nib. And as you can see, it writes pretty well. And I am not a fountain pen person at all. I do enjoy them now for sketching. So it came with this nib. Now, Jinhao is an inexpensive Chinese fountain pen company. I got mine on Amazon for about $5, and I used some Tachikawa G-nibs that you guys know I love those, and I had some in my studio already. In fact, I have a Tachikawa G in my Tachikawa holder. So you guys can see that. It's typically used as a dip pen. But I wanted something that was more portable and ready to go. And I'd been playing around with carbon black ink, which is a pigmented fountain pen ink, and my Noodler's Flex, which I really enjoy, but I really just kept wanting to do that Jinhao 750. So my 750 finally came in the mail, like I said, from Amazon, and you guys can check the description below for links to everything. And I tried the Parka Blogs tutorial, and it just didn't work for me. It just wasn't as easy as it seemed to be for him. Now, maybe he's a little bit stronger, or he has more strength in his hands, or I don't know really, but I just was having all these problems. And the big problem is that, let me see if I can switch and draw for you guys. The feed on this fountain pen is, come on you, it's like this, whereas the G-nib, sorry, my cat is trying to force his way into my lap. The G-nib at a angle view is actually more curved than the feed. So the difficulty was getting the nib to sit cleanly on the feed, because when you slide them together, you're getting this air gap. So you can't, your ink or your liquid won't travel through it, and it won't ink. So I couldn't, my feed and my nib, they went in with some force, and then they got stuck, and I couldn't get them apart. So I started Googling for solutions. And Goulet Pens, ow, cat claws in my thigh. Goulet Pens talks about, with some reservations, so please don't think I'm saying he's promoting this method. He mentioned that you could indeed heat set plastic, but it was different. Well, I couldn't even get my feed separated from my nib, so I couldn't exactly follow his method, which was to put the feed in boiling water and then bend it when it becomes a little pliable. Sorry, cat ear. I had to, you know what, I'm just gonna, there, since that's what he wants. I had to put the whole thing in, which is not recommended, and I actually had to use a pair of pliers and a zip tie to hold that in place. And that didn't actually solve my problem. So instead of inking up with ink every time, I used water just as a tester, so I'm not flushing a bunch of ink, and I'm not cleaning my pen every time, I'm just using clean water. Well, putting my nib and my feed and my converter in the cold water makes the metal contract. And what that did is it made it so that I could actually get my nib and feed out of this band like that. And so I was able to separate the whole thing, and then I could heat set the plastic feed, which was much easier, and then bend it up just a little bit. And then I could follow the Goulet method fully, where you heat set the nib and you bend, the feed, and you bend it back, and then you put the nib in, and then it pushes up the tines. And you guys should just check out that video. I'll link it. He does a way better job explaining it. And it worked. It worked. It worked with the water test. It worked when I inked it up with the carbon black. This was my test sketch. So I'm sharing this with you guys because I'm stubborn. And I did actually order another 750 because I was like, well, I may have ruined this pen, and that's fine. I'll just destroy it. I will just try and try and try until it is broken. And then I'll do something with the other one. Well, what I think I might do is I have another friend who's getting into fountain pens from a sketching point of view as well. So I think I might actually modify the other 750 I have coming in and send it to this person as a surprise. Although if they're watching this video, they probably know who they are. And I'm not going to send it inked up because I don't want it leaking all over the place. But I thought, you know, I mean, it's an inexpensive but cool present, right? And like, I'm just super excited that I pushed through and I figured it out. I'm kind of a tinkerer, but like art supplies for artists often does not involve tinkering. It is what it is, and if you mess with it too much, you'll break it. And fountain pens is a little bit more tinkering, which really appeals to like the Lego kind of part of my brain, the part of my brain that could have gone into STEM had I just been nudged in a different direction years ago. And I wanted to encourage you guys, even on small projects like this, just keep pushing, especially with inexpensive supplies where if you ruin it, you're out $5, you know? Because if you succeed, you've learned a lot. You've learned a lot about the product. You've learned a lot about similar products, and you've developed new product problem-solving skills. So that is my art sound off for today, November 11th. I am heading off to that Friendsgiving celebration party get-together in a little while, and I'm super glad that I had this little breakthrough because it sort of raised my spirits a little bit, and it gave me something positive to share with you guys. And this was inked on Canson wallpaper. When I use the platinum carbon ink, I have had very few problems with feathering and bleeding. I know some of you fountain pen geeks are probably maybe a little bit curious about that. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!